Hey there. If you're watching this right now, chances are you're going through something really tough. Maybe you're freshly separated. Maybe divorce papers are sitting on your kitchen counter. Maybe you're trying to figure out what the heck happens to your house, your finances, your life. First off, I see you. I really do. I know how much this season weighs on your heart. It's messy, it's painful, and it's okay to not have it all figured out. To be totally honest, I questioned whether or not I should even make this video. This isn't the kind of content you wake up excited to film, but in just the last few months, I've had several people, clients, friends, people in the community reach out and ask me, Josh, what do I do now? That question has echoed in my head. So, this video isn't about selling you a home. It's about giving you the tools and clarity to make empowered decisions when everything feels upside down. I'm Josh Lasquete, a Sacramento based realtor, dad, husband, and someone who's walked with clients through just about every life change that you can imagine: birth, death, new love, heartbreak, and yes, divorce. My job isn't just about helping people buy or sell, it's about showing up for people when they're standing at a crossroads. Today's video is deeply personal because it's about one of the most emotional, uncertain, and yes, transformational times you may ever face. So let's walk through it together. This season, it's heavy. And if you feel like you're drowning in emotions, uncertainty, or even numbness, you're not alone. It's okay to not have it all figured out right now. Really, it is. You're allowed to take it one breath, one decision, one moment at a time. Emotions first, decisions second, because clarity follows healing. Don't rush the process just because the world tells you to move on. You might be waking up in a house that no longer feels like home. The walls that held your laughter might now echo with tension or silence. The space that once felt safe may now feel like a reminder of everything that's changed. A past client of mine, Rachel, was terrified to sell the home she had raised her kids in. She told me, Josh, I feel like I'm leaving the last piece of my family behind. It took time. We didn't rush. We talked through the emotions. We honored her memories, and eventually, she found a place that didn't just fit her budget, it felt like hers. A new beginning, not a replacement. Have you ever walked into a space and felt like it didn't belong to you anymore, even though your name was still on the deed? That's a real feeling, and it matters. You deserve to feel safe, seen, and supported in your next move, not just logistically, but emotionally too. Okay, now let's talk about the nuts and bolts, because once you're in a place to make decisions, the question becomes, what are my actual options? What paths are available to me financially, legally, emotionally? Here are 5 of the most common housing paths after a breakup or divorce. Option 1, stay in the home. Now, this can work if one person can afford the mortgage on their own, or if there's agreement on how to handle buyout or support. But emotionally, sometimes staying in the same space can be too painful. It might feel like a constant reminder of what was. However, it can offer stability, especially if kids are involved or you need consistency. Option 2, buy out your ex. This means you refinance the home into your name alone and compensate your ex for their share of equity. It works when finances and credit align and when both parties are open to negotiating in good faith. I've seen this work well when there's mutual respect and a desire to simplify things, but it does require a clean credit report, sufficient income, and a good lender in your corner. Option 3, sell the home and split the equity. Sometimes the cleanest break is just that, a clean break. Sell the property, pay off any debts tied to it, split what's left. It's often the most straightforward option and allows both parties to begin again. This is especially helpful when neither party can carry the home alone, or when emotions are running too high to co navigate ongoing property responsibilities. Option 4, One stays, one rents. This arrangement involves one party staying in the home and paying rent to the other, often temporarily until a buyout, sale, or court ruling occurs. It can work for a time, but only when there's clear communication, trust, and legal backing. It's a bridge, but it shouldn't be the long-term plan unless it's built into a broader strategy. Option 5, co-own the home post-divorce. Now, this is less common, but it does happen. Some couples choose to keep the home and rent it out, splitting the profits while living separately. Others may co-own while one continues living in the house. This requires clear legal agreements and boundaries. But in the right scenario, especially as a short-term investment strategy, it can work. Remember, there's no one size fits all. These options aren't just about money. They're about peace of mind, healing, and what gives you room to breathe again. As you weigh your options, ask yourself not just what you can do, but what you need most right now. All right, let's talk about what might be the single most stressful part of all of this, the money. Because even if emotions are settling and decisions are being made, the financial side can still feel like a total whirlwind. What happens to the mortgage? If both names are on it, both are still legally responsible for it, no matter who stays in the home. That's a big deal. Refinancing might be necessary to remove one person from the loan, but that requires credit, income, and often a buyout. If payments aren't made, both parties' credit take the hit, even if one has moved out. Let's take a quick minute to understand joint debt, credit scores, and refis. Divorce doesn't wipe away joint debt. Credit cards, car loans, and yes, mortgages still linger unless actively refinanced, closed, or transferred. Missing just one payment can derail your ability to qualify for a future home loan. Talk to a mortgage lender early, one who understands divorce scenarios, to map out what's possible. Okay, let's discuss the division of equity and how to determine what's fair. Equity is simply the value of your home minus what's owed on it. Fair doesn't always mean 50-50. It depends who contributed what, what's court ordered, and what's negotiated. Always involve a neutral third party like a mediator, attorney, or financial advisor to calculate equity splits and avoid future conflicts. All right, what about how to qualify to buy again on your own? Lenders will look at your individual credit, income, debt to income ratio, and assets. Child support or alimony, if documented, can count toward qualifying income. You may need time to rebuild credit or reduce your debt load before you're ready. All right, here's a couple tips for budgeting during a transitional season. Start tracking every dollar. Knowing where your money goes brings back a sense of control. Set aside a home fund, even $50 a month, so you're building momentum towards your future. Consider temporary cost cutting strategies like shared housing, budget apps, or working with a financial coach. Look, I know money conversations can bring up fear, guilt, even shame, but here's the truth. Getting clear about your finances is one of the most powerful ways to take your life back. This isn't just about buying a home, it's about rebuilding your life with confidence. What's the biggest fear that you've had around money after divorce? Drop it in the comments. I'll reply to every single one. Seriously, let's talk about it because chances are someone else watching needs to hear your question too. All right, now let's talk about something incredibly close to your heart, your kids. Because as hard as this transition is for you, it can feel even more confusing and unsettling for them. And when it comes to housing, those decisions ripple into every corner of their world. First, let's discuss navigating custody and the housing stability. Kids thrive on stability, so when everything else is changing, providing a sense of continuity through your home or homes can make a massive difference. Consider how your housing decision affects custody schedules. Are you close enough to allow for consistent pickups, shared responsibilities, and minimal disruption to their routines? Some families agree to a bird's nest custody arrangement where the kids stay in one home and the parents rotate in and out. While this isn't for everyone, it's an option rooted in keeping the children's environment consistent. All right, next, let's touch on prioritizing school zones versus commute. School districts matter, but so does your daily life. Sometimes the best school on the paper isn't the best fit emotionally or logistically. Weigh the emotional toll of a long commute versus staying near your support network, job, or childcare options. If your child is mid year or already struggling with the transition, keeping them in the same school, even if it requires more driving, might be the most stabilizing move that you can make. Next, let's talk about making this transition smoother on the kids emotionally. Create consistency between homes, similar routines, bedtime expectations, and even duplicate comfort items. Involve them, age appropriately, in decisions about their new space. Let them choose a paint color or pick out a new bedspread. Help them feel like they're gaining something, not just losing. Most importantly, remind them often that they are not the reason that this is happening. They are loved, safe, and supported no matter what. All right, this next one's important, and that's working with professionals who honor what's best for the whole family. Not every realtor understands the emotional dynamics of working with separating parents. That's okay, but make sure yours does. The right agent will ask thoughtful questions, coordinate showings around shared custody schedules, and treat both parties with respect and neutrality. My goal always is to help both sides feel seen and supported, even if I'm working more closely with one person than the other. I had a couple once who decided to sell their home and buy separately, but both chose to buy homes just a few blocks apart. They said, "We may not be married anymore, but we're still parents, and that means our kids deserve to feel like both of us are always close by." That kind of intentionality, that's the stuff that turns heartbreak into healing. Remember, your kids don't need perfection. They need presence. They need peace. And if I can help support that in any way, I'm all in. All right, now let's talk about something that might feel both exciting and terrifying: buying again. Whether you're ready now or just wondering what the road might look like down the line, this is your space to start thinking about the next chapter on your own terms. Getting pre approved on a solo income. One of the biggest shifts is going from dual income to solo. That can feel intimidating, but it's not impossible. Pre approval will give you a realistic idea of what you can afford, and it helps set expectations from the start. It's your new foundation. Work with a lender who's sensitive to your situation and can help you run different scenarios, especially if support payments or debt from the previous relationship are involved. Adjusting expectations without compromising on peace. You might not be shopping for the same size house, the same neighborhood, or even the same price point, but that doesn't mean you're settling. This next home, it's not about replicating the past. It's about creating peace, possibility, and space that's just yours. Let go of comparison. Your future isn't tied to square footage, it's tied to how a space makes you feel. Rebuilding credit if needed. If your credit took a hit during or after the split, you're not alone. Start small. Secured credit cards, auto pay setups, and consistent payments go a long way. You don't have to wait until everything's perfect. Progress matters more than perfection. Looking for a home that feels like your next chapter, not a copy of the last one. This is your opportunity to redefine what home means for you now, not what it used to mean. Maybe it's cozy and low maintenance. Maybe it has a garden you've always dreamed of. Maybe it's walking distance to your favorite coffee shop. Your home doesn't have to look like anyone else's dream. It just has to support yours. Here's something I say to every client going through this transition. You're not starting over, you're starting fresh. There's a difference. One feels like loss, The other feels like a beginning, and beginnings, they're full of promise. All right, let's take a moment to remove the pressure. Not every path forward involves rushing to buy another home. In fact, for many people going through a breakup or divorce, renting for a time can be not only smart, but healing. When renting might be the better short term move, renting gives you breathing room emotionally, mentally, financially. It's a chance to pause, recalibrate, and make decisions from a place of peace rather than panic. If you're not sure what your long term custody arrangements will look like, or if you're unsure about your job or location, renting gives you flexibility to adapt. Some people rent for 6 to 12 months simply to reset, to figure out what they truly want in their next chapter before locking into a mortgage. Let's discuss pros and cons for emotional space and financial breathing room. Pros: no long term commitment, lower upfront costs, easier to relocate if needed, less maintenance. And your cons: you're not building equity. Rental rates can rise, and you may not feel the same sense of ownership or control over the space. That said, sometimes the mental and emotional relief of not having to worry about a roof repair or mortgage qualification is worth more than the equity you'd gain short term. Renting doesn't mean failure. It can be a runway. Renting is not a step backward, it's a pause that can catapult you forward. Think of it like a runway. It's what planes need before they can take off. And just like that, renting gives you space to gather strength, clarity, and direction. You are still moving forward. You are still building. You are still in motion, even when it feels like you're standing still. Home ownership can still be your goal, just with a new timeline. Just because you're not buying today doesn't mean that dream is off the table. Using this time to stabilize your finances, build your credit, and clarify your goals, the best real estate decision isn't the fastest one. It's the one that's aligned with where you are and where you want to go. Whether you're renting or buying, you're still moving forward. You're still reclaiming your space, your peace, your story. Don't let anyone, including that voice in your head, convince you otherwise. Look, I know that this has been a lot. If you're watching this, chances are you've been carrying a ton of emotional weight. And when you're in that space, the last thing you want is some realtor throwing listings at you without listening. So let me be really clear. I'm not here to push. I'm here to partner with you. I'm not just someone who hands you a brochure and tells you to pick a house. I'm here to sit with your questions, hear your story, and walk you through what comes next. No judgment, no assumptions, just support. My team and I specialize in high emotion, high stakes transitions, divorces, separations, relocations, probate cases, you name it. We've helped people navigate messy court orders, tangled title situations, awkward co-owned properties, and even coordinated with attorneys and mediators when the process got complex. We've helped people cry through showings and then celebrate closings. We've stood in living rooms full of memories and helped folks imagine a future worth hoping for. This is more than a job to me. It's a calling, because when your life is in pieces, you deserve someone who knows how to handle the details and the emotions. And if you're in the Sacramento area, or even just need to talk to someone who's been through this with other people, please know that I'm just a phone call or click away. Click the link below to book a free discovery call. No pressure, no obligation, just a safe space to talk through what's on your heart and what's next. So, what do you do now? I know it might still feel overwhelming, but let's break it down into 3 simple steps. These aren't about fixing everything overnight. They're about helping you take back a sense of direction, one small but powerful step at a time. Step 1, get clarity on your financial picture. This doesn't mean having all the answers right away. Just start by laying everything out: income, expenses, debts, credit scores, and any support payments you may be giving or receiving. Even if it feels messy, clarity brings peace. Knowing what you're working with gives you the confidence to move forward with intention instead of fear. Step 2, have a housing goal, even a loose one. Don't worry about locking yourself into a decision today. Just ask, what does stability look like for me right now? What would bring me peace? Your goal could be renting for 6 months, buying something smaller, moving closer to family, or just getting out of a situation that no longer feels safe or healthy. Let it be fluid. You're allowed to pivot, but having a North Star, even a fuzzy one, gives your next steps purpose. And step 3, reach out to a professional who knows how to walk through this terrain with compassion. This part is crucial. You don't need to navigate this alone, and you shouldn't have to. Talk to someone who's done this before, who doesn't just understand real estate contracts, but understands real life heartbreak and high stakes transitions. Whether that's me or someone else in your area, make sure that they lead with heart. The right person will honor both the numbers and the emotions behind them. These first steps might feel small, but they're the beginning of something much bigger, your comeback story. And trust me, you do have what it takes. You're not broken, you're rebuilding. And I'm here whenever you need a guide. Here's what I want you to remember: your past does not get to define your future. I know it might not feel like it today, but you are not stuck. You are not broken, and you are not too far gone. You may feel heartbroken right now. You may feel like your world is in pieces, but your story isn't over. Far from it. This is the moment where the healing begins, where the clarity comes, where the fog slowly starts to lift. There's a home and a future that's waiting to welcome you into it. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are worthy of starting fresh. The road ahead may have some twists and turns. There will be days that feel heavy and moments where you second guess everything. But you will also find strength that you didn't know you had. You'll discover peace in unexpected places, and you will create a new chapter, one that reflects you. What part of today's video hit home for you? Let's talk in the comments. You never know who else might need to hear what you have to say. If this video helped you or someone you care about, please like it, share it, and subscribe to the channel. YouTube notices when people engage, and that allows me to keep creating content that help more people just like you. And remember, a single smile is infectious. It can spread joy and cover a mile. Take care of yourself, and when you're ready,